One of the all-time best finishes in college basketball championship history. Kris Jenkins hits a game-winning three at the buzzer to win Villanova the national championship over North Carolina. We're at the Final Four, which turned into the Final Two here tonight. Tim Langlois with JP Chunga and JP. Just a thrilling game to be at, and one that'll be in the history books that we'll look back on for a long, long time.
It was phenomenal. Villanova had a large lead in this game, up by 10 with less than 6 minutes to go in this game, and somehow, some way, UNC was able to get back into the ball game. And it was through the play of their defense. Bryce Johnson and the guards, Marcus Page, Kenny Meeks, also, they were funneling everything towards the center of the paint, right to those bigs. And Villanova got themselves into bad situations. They missed some shots in the second half after they were blistering hot in the Final Four game and in this game throughout. They shot just about 58%. But in the end, Kris Jenkins with a phenomenal play and Ryan Arcidiacono did it all, taking it down the court and just hitting the trailer for the game-winning three.
Yeah, it's Villanova's second ever national championship, the first for Jay Wright, getting it done as well. Virtually emotionless after the game-winning shot. What a scene it was.
It was remarkable that Jay Wright looked at that shot, at that moment, and didn't have a reaction. And the way that he described it was the fact that he thought there was more time left on the clock. There wasn't.
No.
And it was just complete bedlam here in the NRG stadium. People were just throwing things into the air. The confetti came out onto the court, and it was celebration time for the Wildcats.
Certainly was. Villanova wins it 77-74. Thought maybe we're heading to overtime, but not the case after the shot by Jenkins. Let's hear from the head coach of the Wildcats, Jay Wright, as well as the man who hit the game winner, Kris Jenkins, and the most outstanding player, Ryan Arcidiacono.
You're like a parent when you're a coach. I just couldn't be prouder and I couldn't be happier to see them enjoy this and fulfill their dreams. And that's what it's all about for a coach, just to see their eyes, to see their satisfaction, their enjoyment. There's no better feeling in the world for a coach or a parent.
How tough a shot was that for you? How difficult?
It was a 1-2 step, catch and shoot. It wasn't that hard.
Did you get your feet set? I was talking to your dad afterward. He said, get your feet. I wanted to get his feet set. It looked like he did.
I don't know what I did, but it went in.
How long did it feel like it was in the air?
Oh, not that long. When I let it go, I just stood. When I stood there, 1 second, 2 seconds, bang.
You knew it was good?
I think every shot's going in, so that one was no different.
Were you kind of thinking overtime, or you thought 4 seconds was plenty?
When Arch flipped the ball back to me, and I saw how wide open I was, no overtime. This ball game.
You knew it when it went up?
No, ball game.
You know what that thing go?
Nope, this is staying with me for a long time. Long time.
What's the first thing you're going to do after this? Are you going to see family? Are you going to sleep? Are you going to celebrate? Do you have any idea?
Honestly, I'll probably just enjoy this moment with my teammates, man. We're going to go crazy later.
It's a play we practice every single day, and most of the times I end up taking the shot, but I was just trying to be aggressive. Dance did a great screen, and I heard Kris screaming at me. I was going to shoot it, but then I heard him, and I was like, all right, I got confidence in my teammates, and we just executed.
Were you surprised that he had that open look?
No, because once we inbound the ball in that play, everyone kind of forgets about the inbounder, and I think that he inbounded the ball and he just trailed, and I think they were trying to take me away from taking the last shot, and I just flipped it to him. He was able to make it.
So when he lets it go, did you?
I always have confidence in it when anyone shoots it, especially Kris when he's wide open, and honestly, I didn't have a good vantage point of it, but once he made it, I just went nuts.
When you were cutting down the nets, who are you thinking of, or what are you thinking of?
I'm thinking about the team, basically. Don't mess up cutting down the net, and just think about everyone and the whole Nova Nation for coming out here and everyone supporting back home.
Tell us what it's like, your last game at Villanova Uniform to go out this way.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I just wish – I always thought, I never thought I'd be crying just because we lost, but I never imagined winning a national championship and going out like this. It's something unbelievable.
How'd you end up with Jim Nance's time?
So we're walking off the floor. The whole team's going off, and he stopped me, and he said, what did he say? I wanted to give this, excuse me, I give this to a senior on the winning team who has inspired him throughout the tournament. And I was just in awe and in shock that he gave it to me. And he took his tie off and gave it to me, shook my hand. He said, I appreciated covering you. You're a really nice young man, and congrats.
There's the most outstanding player of the tournament, Ryan Arcidiacono, with somehow ended up with Jim Nance's tie at the end of the game. And you heard the story there. Said Jim Nance said he gives it to a senior that it kind of admires and thought had a great tournament. And how about that story?
Well, I mean, Ryan Arcidiacono has meant so much for Villanova in the Wildcat program. He's a local guy from Bucks County. He grew up around the program, and then to get to this moment in Houston and to make the winning play to your buddy Kris Jenkins and to celebrate with this senior class, it was phenomenal feeling for him, and for Jim Nance to do that, just top class as he's ready to go to the Masters.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about we'll go back a second here with North Carolina. Not to be forgotten, the shot by Marcus Page that tied the ball game. Just an incredible shot that gets a little bit lost after the shot by Jenkins.
He is a cold-blooded killer, Marcus Page. He did it to Syracuse in the round before, and then he tried to rip the hearts out of Villanova fans. He played phenomenally during this entire tournament, and he certainly is a guy who will be making the jump to the pros. It's just unfortunate that it comes as a senior, Marcus Page. He makes the shot that could put them in a good position to get them to overtime, but not enough, and their team just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and North Carolina had the lead by 5 at halftime, and then at one point in Villanova, I tweeted this out, it was 33-18 Villanova. Really dominated the second half for the most part, except for the end when North Carolina made a little comeback.
North Carolina, the only way that they got into the game was through offensive rebounds. They had 16 in this entire game, Villanova just 2. So they were able to take those shots that they were missing and get them and recycle the ball so that they could get back those shots through Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson and all those bigs. It was a remarkable effort for Villanova to have the intestinal fortitude to still come back and respond. There were some moments where you had Arcidiacono going point for point with North Carolina, and it ended up with them just needing all of his points. He had 16 on the night, and they needed all 16 of those.
Yeah, and they did to get the win for Villanova. 77-74 was the final. Just an all-time classic. Again, I said this earlier. We'll be looking back on this one.
First buzzer-beating national championship game since 1983, which was Houston and NC State.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that you see all the time.
Yes.
Anytime you think of the NCAA tournament and the Final Four and the championship and all that.
And we had 2 shots.
Yes, we had 2 of them.
We had 2 amazing shots. It was ridiculous.
Just a crazy back-and-forth game all night here at NRG Stadium. Well, that does it here for our coverage here from Houston at the Final Four. Thanks for following along. For JP, I'm Tim, signing off for one last time at the Final Four. Thanks for watching.